Hello, everyone. Welcome to our transformational webcast, MS Fabric, Unifying Data and Analytics for Innovative and Comprehensive AI Solution Platform. I'm Renuka Singh, Change Management Evangelist at Compunnel. We have two distinguished guests with us today who are pioneering the industry with their vast knowledge and experience. Let me begin by introducing Dr. Ravi, Director of AI and Emerging Technologies at Compunnel. Ravi, an AI visionary, has been instrumental in bringing groundbreaking advancements in artificial intelligence at Compunnel. We also have with us Arunansu, a technology specialist at Microsoft. Arun specializes in creating technical solution architecture for business using data Azure and AI solutions with a focus on Microsoft's new cutting-edge product, MS Fabric. To the CXOs, IT decision makers, and business leaders like you, data is the new oil, and AI is the key to unlocking its potential. As per Gartner, by 2025, AI will be one of the top 5 investment priorities for more than 30% of CIOs globally. Businesses that are not integrating AI and advanced analytics into their operations today are going to face major competitive disadvantages in the near future. Today's webinar is going to discuss the role of AI and data analytics in driving business outcomes and how Microsoft Fabric is playing a pivotal role in unifying the process. You'll learn about industry trends, use cases from diverse industries, and most importantly, you'll get a clear idea of the role of data and AI in your business strategy. We have a Q&A tab on Zoom for your questions. Our team will do their best to answer them. Some questions will be addressed live on air towards the end. However, we understand that all questions might not be answered today. Hence, feel free to email us your queries and we will get back to you. And as a special benefit for joining this webinar today, your company is eligible for a free 1-hour discovery session with our panel members, where you will have the opportunity to deep dive into your specific use case. Now, I'd like to take a moment to shine a light on Compunnel. A 30-year veteran in the tech industry, we are a digital transformation leader that uses cutting-edge technologies like AI, ML, data engineering, and cloud to disrupt and revolutionize businesses worldwide. Our strength lies in our team, with over 10,000 employees in North America and over 4,000 employees near and offshore, and a robust network of over 50,000 consultants. We are committed to delivering the best solutions to our clients. Our Microsoft services cover a broad spectrum: Azure, ML, MLOps, Azure AI generative platforms, and MS Fabric. These services, ranging from facilitating rapid model development with Azure ML to unifying data and analytics with MS Fabric, empower our clients to create a transformative experience and drive exponential growth. At Compunnel, we don't just use these tools, we combine them in unique ways to provide comprehensive, customized solutions that meet and exceed our clients' need, with a firm belief in technology's potential to drive business growth and transformation. Let's explore how these technologies are redefining the future of data and analytics. Let's start with Dr. Ravi. Dr. Ravi, can you please give us some insight into some of the common challenges faced by Compunnel customers and what you see as a common problem in industry today in data analytics?
Thank you, Renuka. Hi, Arunansu. So it's an honor, to engage with a vast group of our CXOs, vice presidents, visionary leaders who are present here today. And your acknowledgement underscores the seismic shift in the business landscape, which is totally propelled by AI and data analytics. Over my, let's say, multiple years of experience at Compunnel, I'm overseeing, the kind of AI and emerging technologies wing, wherein exactly I'm engaged in with many of the business houses, their leaders, especially visionary CXOs, their data and AI teams, and let's say other key stakeholders spanning various industries. Now, a staggering 72% of them express the kind of challenges which are more in terms of real-time integration of their, let's say, extensive and diverse data pools. And not only that, this figures mirrors a global trend actually today, right? According to the renowned syndicate agencies reports, if you go through them, by 2025, there would be around 175 zettabytes of data in the world. This would be harnessing the voluminous data, which exactly would be a kind of a consistent challenge with our most of the customers. Basically, if I talk about the dynamism of data, it's going to be ever increasing volume, its diversity, its variety, its, let's say, escalating velocity at which it is being generated today, often is culminating into a kind of a disjointed data ecosystem, leaving major enterprises, grappling to, let's say, carve a unified and strategic direction. Now, furthermore, if you go through certain reports, we'll see those particular, highlights as well in the entire session. But yeah, if we see that, 37% of the businesses have implemented AI in some of the other form. Most of the companies are becoming AI first companies. They are talking about how exactly we can now go to the next level of maturity in terms of data and AI practices, data governance, AI explainability, ethics and AI aspects. Not only that, how exactly we can now today democratize AI for everyone. So that these are the major things which exactly most of the industries are working for. The crux of the matter is not just about tapping into the vast reservoirs of data and AI, but majorly how exactly this we can convert these insights into tangible ROI is the another concern. Most of the businesses, unfortunately, they are finding themselves in labyrinth of the data, have a kind of a disalignment with the current strategies, their visionary aspects in terms of using the technology in the right direction. Therefore, entering into the platforms like Microsoft Fabric, I think along with the profound expertise of teams like ours at Compunnel, MS Fabric serves as a beacon for the businesses. With Microsoft, it not only is going to integrate or migrate data from disparate sources, but also it's going to streamline its AI-powered analytics. This symbiotic approach will be definitely empowering the enterprises to track performance metrics with precision, integrate team visions, and ultimately realize their holistic business aspirations. So that's all in a nutshell. I have explained, Renuka, what exactly is the current state globally, how exactly people are democratizing data and AI and monetizing them altogether. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. Arun, now I would like to ask you, do you see such challenges working with Microsoft customers?
Yes, Renuka, thanks for the introduction. And Ravi put it very nicely. What we see today is that large customers who are in the on-prem world, they use multiple vendor products in their analytics pipeline. And thing about analytics is, you do use different steps like, you have ingestion, data engineering, you have model building, but they're all still part of, one analytics pipeline. And using different vendor products, often there is a challenge of integrating, and people are confused which part should I do where, and of course when there is a support issue, they don't know if it's this vendor issue or that vendor issue. So that is why we have invested in unified analytics, because we see customers having the challenges on-prem, and when they migrate to the cloud, their first tendency is to kind of lift and shift in an IaaS model, and the challenges they have on-prem, they get carried over, right? And as they move from IaaS to PaaS, still if they're using multiple products to do multiple parts of the analytics pipeline, it leads to that integration challenges, which is what Microsoft Fabric is trying to solve with this unified analytics approach.
Lovely. Thank you, Arunansu, for sharing that with us. Dr. Ravi, what are some other challenges you see from customers around data analytics?
Thank you, Renuka, once again for posting that question in the early session of this particular entire webinar. So addressing the challenges around data analytics is very pivotal here, especially when we are speaking to discerning audience of our CXOs, let's say the eminent vice presidents or data engineers whosoever we are dealing with. They are actually running on the forefront for navigating these challenges on a daily basis. Now, firstly, the scalability and adaptability of the data infrastructures is a recurring concern, which I regularly see in most of my meetings with the clients, their stakeholders. many enterprises actually have already begun their data analytics journey with the systems like might cater to their immediate needs, but soon find these systems, failing short as the data volumes grow or the nature of the analytics, becomes more complex. The inability to scale seamlessly often translates into a missed opportunities many a times and compromised decision making agility. Apart from that, if I talk about the next level of challenges which we are facing today across the globe is around data quality aspects, the consistency in the data aspects, and also these are going to be the paramount things, across the globe. Inconsistent or poor quality data can lead to unreliable insights. So there is no point in using those particular data points and let's say observations. Thereby, they are affecting the strategic decisions. Ensuring data cleanliness and uniformity is another challenge which everybody is working today, be it a big data or let's say structured, unstructured, or semi-structured data. Everybody's having these kind of challenges on a regular basis. Apart from that, how exactly that data is coming from disparate sources, which I already told you. So that also is bringing the let's say the challenges for the entire industry. Moreover, ensuring data security and privacy is going to be kind of a critical challenge these days, especially with the stringent regulatory frameworks globally. So I'm saying that there are stringent regulatory frameworks because sometimes we need some flexibilities over there. So we'll discuss that in the coming discussions, like how exactly most of the companies, especially the banks, are are witnessing those things. Balancing the need for in-depth analytics with preserving user privacy and ensuring data security is the tightrope walk many businesses struggle with. So lastly, I could say that there is another thing which is very prominent in the industry because of rapid changing behavior of technology, that there is a skill gap. So rapidly evolving nature of the data analytics tools, the methodologies, that requires a workforce that's constantly upscaling themselves, right? So many of our clients express the difficulty in ensuring that teams remain at the cutting edge of all these technologies. However, there is a silver lining, obviously, that so with strategic partnership, robust platforms like Microsoft Fabric and the experts of specialized teams as Compunnel's AI division and the businesses, we can navigate these challenges more effectively, and we can ensure that data analytics endeavors they are aligned seamlessly with their business goals and can drive tangible ROIs.
Arun, do you also notice such challenges with your customers?
Yes, I think Ravi touched on all aspects of the challenge. I think later on we are going to go into details of each parts of it. But I want to touch on a particular aspect of managing different components. So, we talked about the integration challenges. Besides that, like for each of the product that people use in an analytics pipeline, there are challenges around configuration because whether you use IaaS or PaaS, there are still too many knobs to control, and customers often get overwhelmed with like, how do I set what's the best practice for this, and how do I set it in a way that my workload scales and I get the best performance for the lowest cost, and my jobs don't fail. That is why Microsoft Fabric, going from PaaS to SaaS, first of all, it's unified. On top of that, it's SaaS to kind of simplify the management of your analytics pipeline. There are very few knobs to control. A lot of the things are kind of automatically done for you, which are the best practices that we normally recommend because it's such a common ask that internally at Microsoft we have a program that people ask. Then we say, okay, they need the cost management program. They need the performance optimization program. All those best practices are embedded into Microsoft Fabric. So as you start using it, all those best practices are automatically applied for you. So it's always performing the best, and it's you are utilizing the least amount of compute, so you are paying the least.
Now that we have delved into some of the complexities and opportunities around data analytics and AI, we are interested in hearing more from you, our esteemed attendees. In this dynamic world, each organization faces its unique set of challenges, and we want to understand what resonates with you. We are going to launch a quick poll right now, and we encourage everyone to participate. This is your chance. Let us know what are the most pressing data management and analytics challenges for you. You will see the poll on your screen now. Which of the following data management and analytics challenges is most pressing for your organization? Please choose one. Integration of disparate data sources, real-time data processing and insight generation, regulatory compliance and data management, effective collaboration on data-driven projects, efficiently managing data pipelines. Choose one and let us know. We'll wait for a few more seconds. There are a lot of responses pouring in. Thank you, audience. Thank you for keeping it so engaging. Please participate actively. Few more seconds to go. We'll wait for a few more responses. Thank you for all your active participation. Your insights help us provide the most valuable information and services to pioneers like our attendees. I'd like to remind you all about the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat box and we'll do our best to address them during the session. Before we continue, I'd like to remind everyone that we are offering an exclusive 1-hour free workshop tailored for you to your unique business needs. Our dedicated team will reach out to you within next 48 hours to schedule this opportunity. So don't miss out on shaping the future of your business. So Arun, what is Microsoft's solution and recommendation for this?
Yes, I have prepared a small presentation that I can show a quick demo. I promise to keep it short. Okay. Let me know if you can see, and I want to minimize these so that they are not in the way. Okay. Okay. So Microsoft Fabric, as you said, it's analytics built for the era of AI. We have looked at all the challenges of all the previous analytics platforms, including our own, the Azure Synapse Analytics, and taken the best practice for everything and included those into Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft Fabric, as I said, is a complete analytics platform where you can use all parts of the analytics, each of the steps, included within one platform, and it's lake-centric, and we follow open standard, as you'll see later in the demo, using Apache Spark and some of the common standards that are used within the analytics, used by most organizations, so that the code is portable. It's designed for business users. So because it's SaaS, we have taken usability into consideration so that there is less need for a pure technical person to do hand code stuff. So a lot of the things are available for you using a drag and drop control. And our goal is to make Microsoft Fabric for analytics as easy as Excel, that most people are familiar with within businesses. It's also AI powered. Copilot is kind of a common theme at Microsoft, that almost every product has a Copilot that helps in automating some of the common tasks using AI. And Microsoft Fabric is also going to have Copilot. We have already demoed automatic DAX query generation using Copilot in the Build conference that happened recently. So more to come soon. So this is kind of the block diagram of what's there in Microsoft Fabric. Right at the center, you can see there is this storage called OneLake. So OneLake is a managed storage where all of the data for Microsoft Fabric is stored. Because it's a SaaS platform, none of these need to be provisioned. When you go to fabric.microsoft.com, it's already there. Everything is already provisioned. And OneLake you can think of as OneDrive for your business analytics. It's a scalable storage area that's included with Microsoft Fabric that you just have it, and that's where all of your analytics data can be stored. There is Data Factory for data ingestion, and then there is Synapse Data Engineering for doing data engineering and feature engineering. There is Synapse Data Science for building machine learning models and managing MLOps. There is Synapse Data Warehouse for that traditional data warehousing, the SQL data warehousing that most people have today in on-prem. The Synapse real-time analytics is for more of the streaming real-time workload. The Power BI is, of course, our reporting platform, and there is a data activator for more event-driven architecture, where you want to react on something as things happen. Now I'll move to this is what Fabric Workspace looks like, and you can see, this is where your data hub is, and all of your data lives here. And you can see the data that you own, as well as the data that's certified by your organization that's available to you for analytics. Now, I'm in my workspace, so every user gets their own workspace. For starting with ingestion, you have something called data flow. With a data flow, a business user can use drag and drop tools to create a data ingestion pipeline. As you can see here, the screen might look complex because there is a lot happening here, but everything here is built using drag and drop controls that you see on screen. There is almost zero coding required here. If your data transformation is not that complex and you're simply trying to copy data from one place to another, you can use the pipeline feature. For example, here I have a simple pipeline where it's simply copying data from a source to a destination, and upon successful copy, it sends, connects to Outlook to send a success email, right? And the email, format is configurable. You can, for any real-time scenario where you are trying to read a streaming event like Azure Event Hub, you can have a real-time analytics pipeline that takes your streaming data and puts it in for example, OneLake, and you can have a real-time query and dashboard built on top of your data in OneLake, and that's how you can have a real-time streaming dashboard. For traditional reporting, or if you are doing more advanced queries, so when you do need a developer to kind of hand code your machine learning or data analytics pipeline, you do have this notebook interface where you can include use open standards like ML flow for machine learning management, right? So your notebook is an interface where you can hand code your data engineering and machine learning model building within Microsoft Fabric. If for data set management, for building reports in Power BI, you have if you have a Power BI data set, for example, you can it gives you the option to auto create report, right? So it's kind of an AI feature that it looks at your data set and it just auto creates report based on your data set, what type of visual makes sense, right? And this is an example of a report that I created using that auto create feature. If I want to, I can further customize it to add more visuals. With that, that concludes my demo, and we'll go into more details of each one of these as we progress.
So thank you, Arun. You have given almost all the insights. While I was, exploring the preview version of it, I was playing around, some stock real-time stock data analytics and integrating that. And the kind of, the KQL framework it has kept over there, it's really super, super awesome. Anyway, so majorly, if you talk about, the next line of actions, and let's say where the organizations are, majorly working and they're worried about is how exactly they can keep scalability of their analytics solutions. especially with fluctuating computing needs. How exactly Microsoft Fabric can help us in overcoming these kind of scalability challenges? And also, does it align with the strategic vision of a modern data-driven enterprises, and they can definitely get their next level of maturities?
Yes, that's the first thing that we thought about as we were designing Microsoft Fabric, is that, the idea behind making it a SaaS platform is that we wanted to make that scalability and manageability really easy. In Microsoft Fabric, there are not too many knobs to control to do your scalability. The only thing people need to care about is the fabric capacity. So as you provision Microsoft Fabric, you set a fabric capacity, and based on the fabric capacity, your compute and your memory is set. Right. So as you need to scale, you just need to increase your fabric capacity, and your existing workload still continue working. You just automatically get more capacity. That there are not many. There is absolutely no other knobs to control. So you just set your fabric capacity, and everything is auto scaled and auto managed for you to give you the best performance for the least cost.
That's great. That's really great. Again, Arun, looking at the global scenarios in terms of the advent of generative AI practices, these days, data security is having another challenge, which exactly everybody's confronting on a daily basis. Be it banks, be it pharmaceutical companies, be it the healthcare unit. So, how exactly those particular data security aspects are being taken care in terms of maintaining the privacy, at the same time having scalability and flexibility within the modern data practices?
Yeah, so Microsoft Fabric has, being a SaaS solution, it lives within the tenant. So most users are familiar with our Office product. So if you use the Microsoft 365, our office.com, Microsoft Fabric being a SaaS platform, it kind of follows the same pattern. So you get same type of security control. It lives within your tenant. It lives within your network. Even if it's on Azure, it's an extension of your on-prem network. It's a VNet that you control. You have, all the data stored in Azure is always encrypted at rest. Any data in transit is encrypted using TLS encryption. So all the enterprise control, like role-based access control, authentication authorization that you're used to with, for example, Office product, you get the same type of control and security with Microsoft Fabric.
That's really great, and it's a proud moment, that we can have all these particular things addressed at one go, one single platform, one lakehouse kind of, architecture and infrastructure. So coming to the next level of, interactions over here in the webinar, and also talking about like what are the challenges which I was, dealing with most of the CXOs. So what we are discussing during the meets were that they are very much concerned over governance, right? So that's often emerging as a kind of a key requirement for most of our, eminent CXOs. Could you please shed some light on how exactly Microsoft Fabric would be integrating with robust governance practices and capabilities to ensure data integrity, same time transparency, and meeting the regulatory compliances?
Yeah, so Microsoft, the governance part is, done by Microsoft Purview, which is our enterprise governance tool that governs across your entire data estate, including all of your Office, your CRM Dynamics, and of course Azure, and it extends beyond that to your on-prem and your data in other cloud. So Microsoft Purview is our central governance platform, and Microsoft Fabric integrates seamlessly with Microsoft Purview. So, once you can make that connection, Purview would scan your Microsoft Fabric, so your lineage will be maintained as you do data ingestion. Lineage will be maintained in Microsoft Purview, and as you get the data, your data classification, sensitivity labeling, the business metadata labeling, everything will be done as you set in Purview, and you can see them through Purview data catalog. Right? If you need to implement data quality and enforce data policy, Purview integrates with MDM tools like Prophecy that can implement data quality and data policy enforcement.
That's great. That's great. So it's a again, the one platform and the governance platform services are also available within its purview. Apart from that, Arun, talking about what are the again discussions which we are having with our business magnates and let's say the CXOs, data engineers from different teams, there is a unmistakable consensus on let's say indispensable nature of your mature CI/CD processes within their enterprise analytics. So it's foundational now for guaranteeing having consistent deliveries and orchestrating job manageability. So Arun, can you just elaborate how exactly Microsoft Fabric has fine-tuned its approach towards data ops or let's say the DevOps practices and having maintaining, ensuring the appropriate CI/CD practices? Yeah.
Yeah, so Microsoft Fabric integrates with Git-based source control. Or like right now, it supports Azure DevOps and GitHub. Once you connect to Azure DevOps, for example, you can implement your CI/CD practices the same way you do with your application development. Your data ops and ML ops, everything can be done in Azure DevOps. So that will help you ensure that you are, consistently in a repeatable manner producing your analytics pipeline, and you are able to monitor and test. Everything can be part of your data ops or CI/CD pipeline to ensure those repeated successful analytics job.
Oh, that's really great. So we can have tolerant mechanisms, we can have triggers accordingly, and we can have a sound custom training retrainings, of the models. That's really a fantastic one. Again, but I don't know. We have observed, and there is a notable inclination towards Databricks. I mean, when I was dealing with some of the investment banks, they were underscoring, it's kind of a prominence in the data landscape. Also, can you advise most of our clientele and let's say the CXOs who are actually a part of this webinar today, that how exactly they can definitely leverage Databricks, and also can they really explore the capabilities of Microsoft Fabric in that perspective? Also there, and also I'm asking a series of questions. I know that, but let's see how exactly two platforms can coalesce to supercharge the data strategies.
Yes, Azure Databricks and Microsoft Fabric, they are both a native Azure product. So, being cloud native, they have seamless integration with all of the Azure products, like, our Microsoft Entra, the Azure Storage, for example, right? So, and Databricks is built on Apache Spark. So they are the Spark company. Yeah. And Microsoft Fabric also includes Spark. So our lake, the data lake is, includes the Spark. So because they're both using the Spark SDK, the code can be easily, interchangeable with few nuances that are different. And you still have the native integration capability, so you could write your pipeline in Microsoft Fabric, and then create a delta table in Azure Databricks, but they can still point to a common source and common destination, and that can be Azure, it can be one lake in Fabric, so that there is an easy integration, an easy interchangeability between them. And being on Apache Spark API development platform, the code is easily interchangeable between the two.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, you don't have to pick between one or the other. You just, based on your use case or your familiarity, you just, pick what's right for you.
So it means we are having the fault tolerant mechanism again back in Microsoft Fabric. That's really awesome thing again. One more thing which is coming to my mind right now, since we are discussing on Databricks, we are discussing data aspects. This question is going to be very close to my heart, and obviously for most of our CXOs these days, right? How exactly Microsoft Fabric is having the let's say the solutioning for crafting AI models that are basically custom built, or let's say exactly if I talk about we can even work out on pre-built models, or I can work on large language models, or how exactly I can have those particular metrics which are very important for my AI explainability part, like interpretability and all. So are these particular infrastructures already set within Microsoft Fabric perspective? And yes, if yes, then how exactly we can definitely take the advantage in terms of maximizing strategic business outcomes with those?
Right. So Microsoft Fabric, has that data science module, especially for that. And Microsoft Fabric, besides Azure Database, it also has seamless integration with our other machine learning platform like Azure ML, right? So Azure ML is our full suite of machine learning platform, and from Fabric data science, the notebook environment, you can call your Azure ML, workspace, and do your entire model management in Azure ML, but still call it from Fabric. So you're not leaving Microsoft Fabric, even though you are using Azure ML. In the same way, you could use like parts of Databricks, for example, Databricks and Auto ML, and you could still call it from Fabric. So you're never leaving Fabric, you're still doing it within Fabric, but leveraging the best tool. Besides that, Microsoft Fabric being the next generation of Synapse Analytics, it has that Synapse ML library, which includes all of our Azure cognitive services, right? So, Azure OpenAI, the generative AI which you talked about, is also included in that cognitive services. So, using Synapse ML, you could, call your OpenAI models in Azure AI Studio from Microsoft Fabric. So that way, you are using the different tools, that the right tool for the right job, but you're still doing it from within Fabric. So your seamless integration of your analytics pipeline is not broken.
Exactly. I was working with Promflow over there in Azure Machine Learning Workspaces, and it was fabulous again. But yeah, for large language models, what we used to do is we used to have the Azure OpenAI framework from AI Studio. That's how exactly we try to integrate. And to my surprise, we're also, when exactly we're working on the deep learning side of it, distributed deep learning fashion of models, we're first of all pulling the things from a Horovod platform, bringing it to the distributed network of our, Databricks, and we're doing this thing. So I think now it's pretty easy, and it's all one-time single platform, which can be definitely leveraged by most of our clientele, right? So continuing with that aspect, how exactly Microsoft Fabric can help us in terms of, let's say, real-time data integrations and having the appropriate dashboarding for the same.
Yes, in the demo, I showed a small preview of real-time analytics. The real-time analytics in Microsoft Fabric includes input from Azure Event Hub, which I showed. Besides that, there is also the log analytics Kusto query database. So you can have a KQL data set where you have your log, and you can do real-time analytics, which you used to do on Azure Data Explorer. You could do that in Microsoft Fabric through the real-time analytics.
That's really great. So I think we can also have the event-driven mechanism over there, so that we can have a better analytics even for those triggers.
Yeah, so the data activator part that I talked about earlier, it's designed for that event-driven architecture where it can take input from Azure Event Hub, and it can look for messages on a particular type of event, and then you can have alerts and actions that are programmed to react to a specific type of event.
Thank you.
These are really great, great set of informations. Arun, could you also let us know what do we expect in near future from Microsoft Fabric?
Yeah, there is a lot of investment going into Microsoft Fabric. It's one of the top priority for top executives at Microsoft. If you watch the Microsoft Fabric blogs, there are new announcements happening almost every other week. I would like to discuss the entire roadmap, but we don't have much time, and there is also an NDA and some legal formalities that need to be signed. Towards the end of the webinar, I think we are going to share an email. So if you're interested in that, send us an email. We will schedule it, and I would be happy to discuss more about that in our our discovery session, one-on-one sessions, where once you complete the NDA formalities.
Thank you, Dr. Changle and Mr. Patnaik, for this enriching discussion. It would be even more insightful if we could get new delve into some real-world case scenarios where MS Fabric can play a transformational role. Dr. Changle, could you start us off with a use case, possibly from a banking corporation?
Exactly. And before that, even if the audience has their own, perspective or let's say questions, I think they can also put the same over there. We will definitely answer those. But let me talk about that today's discussion, which I had with one of my clientele over there, who is working with global banking systems, and they are working majorly on compliance aspects, right? So how exactly that compliance, data security aspects are being dealt as they're having, lexicon-based, systems which are traditionally placed. Now they want to replace those lexicon-based workarounds to have AI modeling for the same, having large language modeling layer over there, and to have better flagging mechanism to let's say generate the particular, there's most of the times, it's like on a daily basis, the client is having around 7 to 8 million mailers, right? So from that pool of big data aspects of, email content, the kind of electronic exchanges which is happening in the banking domain, they need to come up with a particular AML solution. So that's where exactly, the things are very complex in terms of having appropriate data structure, having appropriate data modeling over there, having appropriate databases. Not only that, integrating that to with Databricks kind of platform. It's very hectic task over there, to work out. Now the thing is, like, most of these particular banking scenarios are also coming up with nowadays with geospatial data analytics platforms, right? So even for that also they need some third party dependency. So in that case, there would be another vendor who would be developing the solution on geospatial analytics, and there would be particular, the platform cloud providers who will be serving the particular bank for that particular, data analytics part. So there are, like, these are all fragmentation of, the services. You can see they are working in silos. Now what exactly they all need is how one stop platform can be leveraged so that they can have a better visibility to the data which they have better dashboarding, they have better insight generation mechanism. Not only that, they can automate the entire manual processes out there in the function. So these are majorly the kind of strategic, tactical, and the operational challenges which we come across. And to be very honest, this is basically the discussion which I had with one of my, eminent client, which was happened today. So that's how exactly the things are.
Quite informative, I must say, Dr. Tangle. It highlights how a single integrated solution can resolve multiple challenges in such a complex scenario. Now, over to you, Arunansu. Could you help us understand how Microsoft Fabric could help a healthcare organization?
Yes, similar to the use cases that Ravi mentioned, there is a lot of use case for AI in healthcare. So doctors are now using our generative AI technology to auto transcribe a conversation that they're having with patient, and those document generation, and in real time, giving the generating that prescription based on like what they're saying. So a lot of those are in the works. So there are a lot of customers who are already kind of testing prototypes of that. So besides that, like document generation, having a customer service which can use the knowledge base to quickly answer question, a seamless transfer between an AI based customer service agent to a real customer service agent, and being able to transfer insight from the conversation. Those are very common use cases that we are seeing. And Microsoft Fabric, along with our OpenAI, is at the center of all of those use cases.
Thanks for shedding light on healthcare use case, Arunansu. The seamless management of sensitive patient data is indeed crucial. Dr. Tangle, could you share another use case, perhaps in the pharmaceutical sector?
Obviously, yes, Renuka. So we have been discussing, so many challenges from different domains, especially banking, then healthcare. And now, if I talk about the pharmaceutical, the major challenges are the quality control issues over there, which are basically, if you see, it's very a small amount of data they would be working in terms of working with a bank versus a pharmaceutical company. But the thing is, that small set of data which they are working upon is having very huge impact if that particular quality control mechanism fails. So if I'm talking about pharmaceuticals, it's very sensitive. If that particular drug what they're manufacturing is not as per the FDA norms, is not as per the particular the medical protocols, you can see that what kind of social cost it can bear. So definitely those kind of things, especially from the predictive maintenance side, working on having a better, supply chain management over there. In terms of pharmaceuticals, the another thing is the R&D part. How exactly we can work on, let's say, new arenas of maintaining those particular FDA norms and then producing that drug trials, in the particular framework is also another particular issues which the pharmaceutical companies are facing. I came across various clientele. They are also working on in transforming particular, the pharmaceutical company from semi-automation to fully automation stage. So these are like, the challenges which come from the automation side, the process side, the manufacturing perspective. But majorly what we can also see is that how exactly they can make the analytics more pro in terms of giving the right information at the right time. So that's again the things which are very prominent in terms of pharmaceutical sector.
Great insight, Dr. Changle. It's fascinating to see how MS Fabric can transform project management and interdepartmental collaboration in such a scenario. Lastly, Arunansu, could you describe a use case in the manufacturing sector?
Yes, in manufacturing, there are a lot of sensors that get used. There are also a lot of safety protocols. So one of the use cases we have seen is using the camera to track, for example, which field worker is not wearing the right safety gear. Right, that's a common use case. If there is an accident, there can be a severe penalty. And besides that, like as any type of manufacturing, as though most of them are automated already anyway, and the machines are kind of building some of those stuff. And while they're building, there are a lot of sensors which kind of continue to send feedback around what's happening, what's the temperature, what's happening there, what's the speed of this, right? And we have a great IoT platform that we use to provide that insight out of those IoT based data. And with Microsoft Fabric, you can collect all those IoT sensor data in your one lake and do your analytics in Microsoft Fabric in a scalable fashion, which can simplify and speed up a lot of those analytics processes.
Thank you, Arunansu and Dr. Changle. These use cases provide practical perspectives on the versatility and effectiveness of MS Fabric across various sectors. It's evident that whether it's banking, healthcare, pharma, or manufacturing, MS Fabric can integrate and streamline operations, creating more efficient and collaborative work environments. There's only so much we can cover in this short webcast. So please watch out for our exclusive 1-hour workshop tailored for your needs. Our team will reach out to you in next 48 hours to offer this valuable opportunity. So stay tuned. With that, we have now reached one of the most interactive parts of our webcast today, the Q&A session. This is your chance to engage directly with our esteemed speakers, Arunansu and Dr. Ravi, and gain further insights into fascinating world of data analytics and AI. So, thank you, Girish. And I see so many questions pouring here already. So we have a question here. Are Azure Data Factory and Azure Synapse integrated with Microsoft Fabric? Arunansu, could you take that for us, please?
Yes, of course. So Data Factory is still our data ingestion platform. Synapse has Synapse Pipeline, which also includes most of the features of Data Factory. Right now, with Microsoft Fabric, we are actually unifying all of that. So Synapse, the Microsoft Fabric now includes most of the features you had in Synapse Pipeline on Azure Data Factory, and we have looked at what's good and where improvements are needed, and this actually creates a superset of both of those. So you have mapping data flow in Data Factory. Microsoft Fabric has the Gen 2 of data flow, which I showed during the demo. So everything that you used to see and do in Data Factory, you will be able to do inside Microsoft Fabric, and conveniently, it's named Microsoft Fabric Data Factory, right? So because it's kind of the next generation of that Data Factory.
Thank you for sharing that insight with us, Arunansu. Just for everybody's convenience, I would like to mention it's actually overwhelming to see so many insightful questions submitted during the webcast. We have been cataloging them, and our speakers will address as many as possible with the time remaining. Feel free to continue submitting your questions in the chat. Your active participation is what makes this webinar truly enlightening and beneficial for everyone involved. Let's dive into the next question, shall we? So, Dr. Ravi, could you please help us answer this one? This is from an anonymous attendee, though. Does Microsoft Fabric support for multi-tenancy for different teams?
Definitely, yes. We can definitely work out in integrated fashion out there. So there are definitely, the kind of permissions and policies which can be set all together, and then accordingly we can get the credentials and we can work all together. And also I could see, the certain things which are very much related is team is also, the participants are also asking about how exactly the co-pilots plugins are there and what exactly are the deviations or differences over there. I think that also would be, answered shortly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I would also like to add there is data mart feature in Power BI, which gets carried over to Microsoft Fabric, which will be very essential for, when you're working with, multiple teams, multiple lines of business or multiple companies under, like one umbrella.
So another question from Lisa here today. She wants to know if E5 license is required. And what about E3 users?
Yes, I'll take that. So we are talking about the Power BI licenses. As you upgrade from your Power BI to Fabric, all of your licenses will get translated into the Fabric capacity, right? So if you have those licenses, they will be converted to equivalent Fabric capacity. If you don't have it, you start with, activating Fabric and securing that Fabric capacity.
Thank you. Thank you, Arunansu. Next one is from Nishu. If we are planning to migrate our workloads to Azure Synapse Analytics, does it make sense to go straight to Fabric? Ravi, would you please take that for us?
Totally. I mean, if we go with the approach, we need to do the entire let's say planning for that. How exactly, where exactly the data sits, and how exactly the major objective of the business is. But answering, if you can directly go to Synapse and create those particular services out there, definitely we can recommend that. That could be a direct strategy we can work upon. But obviously understand that when it comes to Microsoft Fabric, it is having, let's say, the advanced version of Synapse. Now the Synapse already, the companies, if they are already using it, there is no need to migrate and shift to the new platform. It's already there. So you need to just see what kind of credentials you're having, what kind of endpoints you have generated in terms of your ML workspaces or whatsoever. They can be definitely getting soon integrated into the new ecosystem. Right, Arunansu?
Yes, definitely. So that we are working on an upgrade path from Synapse to Microsoft Fabric, because we understand everybody who is in Synapse today would eventually want to be in Microsoft Fabric, and there are some tools that are about to be released which will help you make that transition smooth. And we're working on multiple cases around building LLMs to do that, code translation. There are multiple partner products. So, stay tuned. More on those details will be announced. And, if you have a pressing need of, going into Microsoft Fabric today, just contact us with that email and we'll get into details of your requirement, and, we will help you with the migration, with our project plan.
Arunansu, would you please take the next question from Denise here today?
Yeah.
She would want to know about, if we have any advice on effectively utilizing Fabric and control cost.
Yeah, so that's the best part of Fabrics, that you don't, it kind of, it might feel scary that you are kind of losing control, but it's meant to simplify that, you don't have to do anything to control cost. You don't have to do anything to optimize performance. it just does it out of the box, right? That's the best part of Fabric, is that your only cost is the fabric capacity, right? So you, based on the usage, you set a fabric capacity, and there is a set cost for that. You don't have to worry about, is your compute increasing, is your storage increasing. You just have to see, is your workload, able to manage within that fabric capacity or not, and everything else under the hood is auto optimized for you.
So Kiran here has another one. He would want to know if someone can explain about building C pilots and plugins for the data-centric applications using MS technology stacks. What is the difference between copilots and plugins and some of the use cases for which they make sense? I'm talking something beyond chatbots, but either providing insights on the organization-specific data and kicking off actions, workflows based on those insights.
Sure.
Also, how to make LLMs use the organization-specific data if it makes sense, particularly in the context of what Microsoft is planning. Ravi, would you please do the name?
Exactly. So what we can do is we can, fragment this particular entire question into multiple steps. And let me start with first thing, that how exactly cPilot, the kind of plugins approaches are there, and how we can make use of the Microsoft technology stack, So definitely, yes, if you go with the Copilot approach and all, you can definitely leverage Azure machine learning, Azure cognitive services, Power BI, data services, like, SQL databases, Cosmos DB, whatsoever you want to work upon. Now, the thing is that if you work with Power Automate, it has got a the Copilot feature within it. So definitely that Copilot is again powered by a GPT-3 engine or GPT, latest model, which they will be upgrading soon. So what is happening over there is, when you're working on this Copilot, they're already putting a particular, a layer over there, which can definitely help me to create intelligent systems or applications which are built to guide the users. They can provide insights, they can offer recommendations. They are basically kind of a core, having the particular core set of functionalities which are actually made for specific purposes. Let's say I'll give you an example also shortly, but let me talk about plugins over here. So plugins would be, apart from what I have discussed is primary intelligence systems. The plugins would be nothing else but the extensions or the add-ons that we are going to integrate our Copilot to give it a kind of additional capabilities. For example, if my Copilot is primarily designed to, let's say, analyze the text data using a large language model, but now we want to process image part of it. So definitely we need a kind of a plugin approach over there. Now, when I said that, I can give some certain example. Let's consider a scenario of predictive maintenance, right? So a Copilot can be there to understand and perform the analytics on my machinery data to predict when exactly they can fail. And a plugin would be nothing else but a kind of a real-time monitoring of the environmental aspects or the conditions, which will enhance the predictive model which I'm using over there. Apart from that, if you talk about sales insights, let's say if I'm having a Copilot over there with sales integrations, or let's say any particular dynamic platform which you are, which is being again, released by Microsoft. So that will give me the, the platform to have better sales predictions. But plugin would be added to analyze, let's say, another thing, like I want to do the sentiment analytics. So that's how exactly there is a minute difference over there, obviously, yes. And we can definitely build up these capabilities for having one intelligence system, plus it would be a plugin which can be handling a specific aspect. That's how exactly it can be working hand in hand together. And definitely, yes, we can work out with large language models all together with secured environment. We can, and meeting all the protocols. Microsoft has its own, individual deal with, the kind of OpenAI platform. So they definitely are working hand in hand together in the best interest of our customers. And apart from that, for the data security and all, Arun, I would like you to respond as per the last part of the question. Yeah.
Yeah, so for data security, first of all, you have to make sure that your data is within your VNet. So there is a published article, on Azure blogs. If you send me an email, I can send you more details on that. I know we have a lot of code samples on how to keep your data protected within a VNet. And use that to fine tune your model, build your chunks and create your vector. So your data and your the chunks and the vector databases, they can still stay within your protected VNet, right, with the firewalls and everything, right? And you can connect to Azure OpenAI for only doing the embedding. And once you do the embedding, your search apps can also be within your firewall. And even with the OpenAI, you have there are VNets there, there are access control available there with RBAC. So you can maintain end-to-end data security in that way.
So, Arunansu, another one coming your way. Is Microsoft Fabric GA?
Not yet. You can follow the Microsoft Fabric documentation to see. I think we're targeting end of September or October to be GA. So all of those dates are there in the documentation, so you can see. Right now, it's in preview, so you can start with any kind of POC development type of implementation. So by the time you're done testing, within a few months, it should be a GA. So it should be ready for your production workload.
Thank you, Arunansu. I think you will have to take this one as well. Kiran here would like to know how is Microsoft Fabric licensed? The different components of it. How is it licensed?
Yeah, that's the easy part. There is no different license for different part. That is just one license. It's called the Fabric capacity. So you set Fabric capacity and everything is included in it.
Perfect. Another question out here is, what is the one thing Microsoft Fabric has when compared to Databricks? It looks like more of a clone of Databricks.
I would completely disagree. Databricks is, a premium Spark offering. They do have a whole suite of data analytics, but what sets Microsoft Fabric apart is that first of all, that there is the SQL data warehouse under the hood. There is a data explorer for doing log analytics. That there is a Power BI a reporting component which is embedded within Microsoft Fabric, whereas with Databricks you have to use another reporting tool. You can use Power BI also, but so that's what sets it apart from Databricks or any other analytics platform. That it's a complete end-to-end analytics platform covering everything starting from your OLTP, OLAP, and data lake type of analytics, all within the same product.
Thank you, Arunansu. Thank you, Dr. Changle. Like I said, your participation, our respected attendees out here, it's overwhelming. And again, readdressing the fact that there's only so much that we could cater to right now in the short webcast. Do watch out for our 1-hour workshop. Stay tuned for it. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed and learned as much as from this enlightening session as I have. The insights from Dr. Ravi and Arunansu about MS Fabric and the larger sphere of AI and data analytics have truly been invaluable. To recap, we explored some common challenges faced by industries in data analytics today, and we have unpacked the immense potential of AI, and specifically how Microsoft Fabric can revolutionize your data and analytics strategy. Thank you for taking the time to join us for this enriching conversation. Our goal was to demystify AI and data analytics to help business leaders like you leverage these tools for improved decision-making and growth. For those of you interested in further exploring how AI and MS Fabric can be a game changer for your organization, we would be more than happy to delve into your specific use case in the workshop. And the workshop is scheduled with Dr. Ravi and Arunansu. Once again, thank you for your participation. It is the curiosity and drive to learn of professionals like you that propel us to continuously innovate and share our knowledge. We look forward to seeing you in our future webinars. You have a great day. Thank you once again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.